Hello, it has been a wonderful week. This last week, 2 weeks, my entire life, I have been, it's really been brought to the forefront of my life in my interactions with other people about how I react versus respond. Reaction to me is the instinct, the reflex, the response. The response is the thoughtful process that brings about positive interaction. I find so often that my gut instinct, my human reflex as a person is when somebody does something negative, I come back with something negative. Or when somebody does something that I think is negative, I come back with something negative. And usually the reaction for me is one that is selfish, self-absorbed, self-centered. It's all founded around my idea of who I am and what my needs are. And when I take the time to I don't want to say repress, but it almost is repression. It's self-control. It's exercising some self-control and saying, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to respond to this. I'm not going to react to this like right now. I'm going to step back and consider what just happened. Why did that just happen? What did I do to contribute to this happening? I find so often what comes of that, the response that comes of that thought process, the response that comes of that moment or minute or hour or day of introspective thought is much more positive. It is much more diplomatic. It's much more considerate and compassionate of other people's feelings. Now, this is something that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. It's not something that I just started dealing with last week. It's something that I've always dealt with. Whether or not I know that I had this problem, 5 years ago, I do so now. I do now know that I have it, and I've been working on it for a couple of years, and it has gotten significantly better in my life, in my ability to catch myself reacting negatively to people, and to guard my mouth and to guard my mind against negative thoughts and actions. What I've been thinking about a lot this week is, have I learned this process of reaction, this negative, ego-centered self-defense, or is that part of who I am as a human being? Is it just an ingrained part of my personality? And I think the answer that I've come up with for me is that I'm actually, at my core, I'm a good person. I'm a compassionate, loving, caring, patient person, and that the negative aspects of the reaction based in my ego, my perception of myself, are something that I've learned. They're environmental. They're from growing up as a child. They're from school. They're from church. They're from social activities. They're from my job. They're from all the places that I go out and I interact with people. I've learned these things, and it's not an excuse. I'm not excusing my behavior. I'm just trying to get a better understanding of where do I acquire these tools that I allow subconsciously myself just to work with, and what can I do to change how I pick up things from people and how I allow myself to be influenced by people. With the reaction and response, when I take the time to slow down and to think about somebody says something negative to me, obscene to me, rude to me, so I stop. I'm not going to take offense. I relax. I don't allow my demeanor to change. I don't give the person the impression that what they've said has hurt me, and even if it has. And then I take the step back, relax, and then I take the time that I need to process. And sometimes processing can take me like 10 to 15 seconds. The better I know someone, the more intimate I am socially with somebody, the more time it can take for me to really grind out a solid, positive, healthy perspective. But I find after that process is done, no matter the duration of time, that what I'm doing is trying to be a better influence and a better person towards other people. Does that work in the reverse? Do how I treat people, in effect, does it have an opposite? So instead of me being the one that's thinking about what other people are saying, when I'm thinking about what I'm saying to people and how I'm treating people around me, does that have kind of the same effect in reverse? Does what those people then say to me change, and does that then change the type of person that I am and the tools that I have? So that's kind of been my thought process for the week, my growth thought process for the week, and it's been really interesting. It's been a couple moments of trying interaction this week, definitely, but on the whole, it's been a really great week. I've really had to tackle a couple personal situations that were very, very emotionally charged for me, very emotionally draining, and I managed to exit through the process and come out on the other side and still not have screwed up too big. I won't say I hadn't screwed it all up, because I'm sure there might have been, or may have been, or is something that I did that I could have done better. That's all. It's always like that. So yeah, that was my week. I hope that you all had a great week as well, and